Hi guys, Ronnie here and welcome to the workshop. Today I'll be addressing one of the more common questions appearing on the channel, and that's regarding my position. So if people look at my bikes, particularly my Tamchal and road bikes, well, you can see that I ride in a fairly extreme, long and stretched out aero position. But also I have the cross bike set up, well, not nearly as extreme, but still as low as it would go, just because, well, I'm used to this. And the question that I get from people is, how do I prepare for riding in a position like this, and how do I adapt to it? Well, all kinds of stretching and core strength exercises are gaining in popularity, I think, at this time for cyclists, and it's widely advertised as something superb and something that can really improve your performance and comfort on the bike, and I definitely can't deny that. But I have to tell you, I've never done a single stretching or core strength exercise from basically the first day I went on a road bike. So yeah, that's definitely not the case for me. But then, how do I get myself to ride in these positions for 4 even 5 hours at times? Well, for me it started with a fairly relaxed position. On my first road bike, I didn't know much about aerodynamics or basically cycling in general, and generally as I kept building up my knowledge about this, I started trying to be more and more aero, and I gradually made my position more and more aggressive, particularly on the road bike. And yeah, just from spending a lot of time trying to force myself into this position, yes, at times I did have back pain, I did have neck pain and shoulder pain, but just from persevering. I'm not saying this is a very scientific or, well, probably even healthy method for doing this, but it's basically what all professional riders do. If you spend a long time on your bike, well, eventually you're going to get used to that. So it was the same with all of my riding. And then I got this bike more than 2 years ago now, and I ordered it with a 120 stem with a 7-degree drop, and that was fine. And I came to a point where I wanted something a bit more aero, because I felt that I was a bit short in that position. So that's when I put on this MV 140mm stem. This is basically the most extreme thing you can get. The 17-degree negative rise slammed. So yeah, pretty extreme. Also the frame's geometry, it's the H1. So this is the older model with the H1 with very short head tube, quite a long top tube. And yeah, when I started riding this, at first I wasn't really comfortable, but now it's just second nature, even after hours and hours of riding. And I think it shows a bit in my average speeds as well. I always tend to ride, well, this very narrow handlebar also contributes to that, so it lets my elbows nice and straight, not like Chris Frooming out. And mostly I ride on the hoods, and also quite a lot in the drops. Obviously the fastest position is going to be in the drops with your elbows bent. On this bike, basically that means effectively that I have my chin on the stem, and it's very fast, although even that is not very sustainable for me. I also have these little gripper tapes on my bar so I can put myself in a time trial like position. That also works fine. That's pretty dangerous, and you need to know your bike handling skills for that. But with practice, and if you ride a lot on a TT bike, it's no problem either. So that's also a way to increase your average speed. And some people say that yeah, these aero handlebars are great, but how do you hold on to the tops then, particularly if they're not taped? Well, the only thing I have to say for these people, or to these people, is, well, you're not really getting the point of the aero section handlebar then, are you? Because, well, you're killing the point of all the aerodynamics, aero brakes, aero frame, aero wheels, aero frame, aero bar. You're killing all that with just, sitting up on the tops. I never ride on the tops, even on very steep climbs. And it's quite unnatural for me as well, and I don't feel I have too much control over there. So, yeah, just forget the tops and ride fast. It's a bit more difficult on the time trial bike. Yes, you can go very low and very long on this, and even on the road bike, but at some point it's not going to be more aerodynamic anymore. That point is basically when you have your back flat and well parallel with the ground, with everything, your shoulders and elbows, everything tucked in nicely together. It's basically the most aero you can get without any wind tunnel testing, of course. Yeah, on the time trial bike, going narrow and going long up to a point, of course, is going to provide gains, but many people struggle to put out power in a position like this. The key to that, again, is just spend time on the bike. There's no two ways about it. There's no easy solution. I don't honestly think that any core strength exercise is going to help with that. So yeah, just ride your bikes, man. It's the more you ride, the faster you go. It can be as easy as that in the case of position. So yeah, that's the two most aero focused bikes. Then on a cross bike, the position from an aero standpoint is not really all that important. As I said, I have it quite low and quite long, just to not be too far off from the road bike, so it's not a super weird, super upright position. But you generally do need to make it 2 to 3 centimeters shorter and taller just to have better control. I also have much wider bars here. This is a 42 bar. It's just 36 on the road bike, so that again helps with controlling those technical situations. As for the mountain bike, again, aero is not all that important, and again, the only reason that I have it like this is to not be completely alien and too upright and too short. Actually, being long on the mountain bike I think it helps with breathing a little bit, because your chest can be a bit more open with wider bars. So that's just my experience, no scientific evidence behind that. And of course, the lower you go on the front, the easier it's going to get to position or distribute your weight on the very steep climbs, but also it's going to detract from your downhill handling, so that's always a compromise over there. But again, if you don't ride it, it's not going to help either. So yeah, this is the logic and the progression that I've made with my bike setups and positions. I hope this clears that up. So yeah, I'm not a bike fitter or anything. This is just how I've done and progressed in my riding. If you want to know more about the actual bikes that I ride and their technical specs, then don't forget to tune into the channel and subscribe. It's all for today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.